right, and we are back here on the GSMC football podcast. And for the final part of the show, we're going to talk about the teams that will rise and fall in 2024 in the NFL. So, let's get right into that. So, CBS released a couple of articles. They had 5 teams that they believed would rise in 2024, and then 5 teams that would fall in 2024. So, let's talk about the teams that'll rise. So they have the Houston Texans, the Indianapolis Colts, the Green Bay Packers, the Los Angeles Rams, and the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Bengals, I mean, we know why they're going to rise is because of the fact that Joe Burrow is going to be healthy next year. You hope. Because we know what happens when the Bengals are healthy. This team goes to the AFC Championship game back-to-back years. And that's a team that I've talked about a lot this week when I did the segment on who can dethrone the Chiefs. That's the team that I think has the best shot because they've done it before. Now, they have lost to them too, but again, it took a Harrison Butker field goal at the end for them to win. And, that was the first time Mahomes has ever beaten Joe Burrow. So, they're going to be better. They're going to franchise tag. It seems they're going to franchise tag T. Higgins, so they're going to keep him. I also saw something, I guess there's rumors out there that they could release Joe Mixon. Now, Joe Mixon is getting older. You saw what Chase Brown could do at times this past season, the rookie running back. So, and Mixon's getting older for a running back, so maybe they could possibly move on from him. But I saw that. But, yeah, listen, if you get a healthy Bengals squad next season, they're going to be really good. And then the other 4 teams, I mean, the Rams, a lot of people really didn't expect them to be good this year. And, really they caught my attention, at least the first game of the year in Seattle, they caught my attention. And then, then they started losing games and I was like, okay, I guess they're not really going to be that good. But then all of a sudden, Kyron Williams comes back from IR and they just looked like, and Cooper Kupp is healthy. Puka Nacua, the season he had, they just looked like a different team in the second half. Well, but especially with Kyron Williams coming back. They just looked like a different team. Now, you saw in the playoff game against the Lions, they got to retool that defense. That defense is not the Super Bowl defense. There's no Von Miller. There was no Jalen Ramsey. I don't think there was Leonard Floyd either. It's just, at least that's just to name a few. Those are big pieces. You still got Aaron Donald, of course, but, it needs a little bit of help. And if the Rams could retool that defense, listen, they're going to be a good team next year. And listen, I probably still put the 49ers ahead of them as the best team in their division, but, you put the Rams right there because, the Cardinals, they're still trying to rebuild. The Seahawks, I mean, we'll see what happens with their quarterback situation. And obviously now they have a new head coach. Sean McVay is one of the best head coaches in the NFL. And you know what? They definitely overachieved. And now, free agency and the draft, if they can address some needs, especially, like I said, on the defensive side of the ball, this team definitely is going to be even better next year. Then you got some young teams with some young quarterbacks. Of course, C.J. Stroud with the Texans. I mean, a great year for him. And, of course, head coach DeMeco Ryans. Again, they got some free agents on the defensive side of the ball, so some reloading there. Also, listen, you got some running backs out there on the market. Maybe they could be a team that tries to make a push for Saquon Barkley, because I know that was one of the teams that that could be a fit for him if he does leave the Giants. Because, yeah, I mean, listen, Devin Singletary did a nice job, but, you need another running back in that spot. So we'll see what they end up doing there. The Colts, listen, with Shane Steichen, even with Anthony Richardson going down, I mean, they had a chance to make the playoffs, and they lost that heartbreaker against the Texans final week of the regular season to be eliminated. Gardner Minshew did a great job, taking over as the backup taking over as the starting quarterback, originally being the backup. But yeah, I mean, listen, next year with Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor with his new contract, again, this team is going to be competitive. And we saw how the Jags just fell off. So really, I mean, AFC South is up for grabs next year. I mean, the Texans, listen, they won the division. But, you know, there's no guarantee that they're going to win it next year. I mean, you figure the Jags are going to be back and they're going to try to, you know, take the division back from them, even though, I mean, it looked like the Jags were going to get the division. It looked like it was going to be locked up, but they just kind of fell apart. And, you know, you figure the Colts gave them problems the first week of the regular season, the Jags. That was a close game. They did blow them out in Jacksonville, but, you know, now next year's a new year. So, you know, you have so yeah, it's going to be between those three teams. I think Tennessee, listen, they're kind of rebuilding. They have their young quarterback with Will Levis, but I feel like they're in a different spot right now. So you know, they're probably you know, outside of that conversation for the moment. And then you also have the Packers. Listen, you know, it was a roller coaster of a season for the Packers. I mean, they started off good, then they had that rough stretch, then they were trending up again, and then, you know, they lost to the Giants, you know, and the Buccaneers, and then all of a sudden, you know, they won their last couple games, and they made the playoffs, won a playoff game, and they almost beat the 49ers too. And Jordan Love played really well. You know, the youngest roster in the NFL. And listen, they're going to be good next year. They should be good next year. You know, new defensive coordinator now, letting go of Joe Barry, which I know Packers fans are really happy about that. You know, there's no reason why this team, you know, can't be good next year. I mean, I think they're going to be good. You know, but their division is going to be tough. I mean, we'll see what happens, with the Vikings and Kirk Cousins. If he's coming back, the Lions are not going away. And the Bears, listen, I mean, even when the Bears were playing better, the Packers still beat them. But, you know, I think the Packers can contend for the division next year. I think they are a playoff team. I mean, they proved that this year. Jordan Love down the stretch was playing his best football, the best football of his career. You know, especially this being the first year he finally was starting games consistently and, you know, found that consistency towards the end of the year. And now if you can carry that into the next season, this team should be good. You know, and they had some big wins. They beat the Lions on Thanksgiving. They beat the Chiefs in Lambeau. You know, and again, they went on the road against Dallas, the game that many people didn't think they were going to win, and they not only did they win, they dominated from start to finish. And then, you know, they almost beat the 49ers. So, I mean, you know, with Jordan Love now as the starting quarterback, this team's going to be a problem. This conference, listen, the conference as a whole in the NFC is going to be better next year. So, yeah, those are the teams that they had listed that are going to rise. Let me know if there's any teams that you think that I didn't mention here that you think are going to rise. But, yeah, those, I mean, definitely the Bengals, just because, you know, like Joe Burrow's coming back. And the fact that they still almost made the playoffs with Jake Browning, you know, that's a credit to them and the kind of team they are. So Nick has a very early Super Bowl prediction. He is predicting Chiefs-Packers next year. Now, if you look at the Super Bowl logo, that is the reason why. No, I'm just kidding. That's not. Well, listen, I wanted that matchup for a couple years now because I wanted to see Rodgers and Mahomes finally play each other, and we, you know, spent money to go see them play each other, and then Rodgers gets hurt. So then we had to watch Zach Wilson versus Patrick Mahomes, which was not fun. Well, no, it was fun, but it just, again, really wanted to see it to be. I really wanted it to be Rodgers versus Mahomes. So maybe that'll be the AFC Championship game next year. No. I like the prediction though. I like the prediction, but again, we got a long way to go. So you know, and we just had this Super Bowl just end, but listen, I'd be fine with it. I'd be fine with the matchup. I know a lot of people wouldn't be just because, again, the Chiefs would be back there again, but we'll see. So now let's get into the teams that could fall. So they have the Browns listed. I don't know if I agree with that. Now, I understand what their reasoning was, talking about Deshaun Watson and, you know, him coming back from injury, Nick Chubb coming back from injury. I understand that, but I don't know. I feel like I feel like they'll still be good. They're still going to be good. Are they going to be good enough to win the division? I don't think so, because you still got the Ravens and, again, a healthy Bengals squad. But, I mean, again, like, this is a team that they say is going to fall. Well, how badly are they going to fall? I don't know. I think the Browns will still be good. Still got a good defense. But, again, I don't get why they would put the Browns. Well, I do get it, but I don't get it. Because they have a lot of talent, but, yeah, I mean, the quarterback position and the running back position is important. But, you know, Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt did a nice job running the football at the end of the year. Or really the whole year while Chubb was out. But, yeah, it really does come down to the quarterback position. If Deshaun Watson's not, if he doesn't turn back the clock into how he was with the Texans, yeah, it's just not really going to work. So they also have the Saints. So they got a cap situation. I mean, listen, they had a good finish to the season. It's just, again, it was too little too late for them. You know, they ended up finishing 9-8. I mean, yeah, you know, Alvin Kamara's getting older. Michael Thomas, you know, keeps getting hurt. You know, the defense is getting older too. Some of the guys. I still don't agree with them keeping Dennis Allen. I think they should have went in a different direction, but they didn't want to do that. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. So then you also got the Broncos as a team they listed as trending down. I mean, yeah, well, I mean, we'll see what they do at the quarterback position. Again, that's another team that has to deal with a quarterback situation because, you know, you could maybe target one of the ones in free agency, trade for one, draft one. There's a lot of possibilities. It's just not going to be Russell Wilson, but yeah, and then you're also in a tough division. You know, because you figure the Raiders, they'll be better next year. The Chargers are definitely going to be better next year, and then you still got the Chiefs. So, but then you also have the Vikings, and I think this really just all depends on, you know, if Kirk Cousins does come back and he's healthy. Because if he's healthy, you know, this team is going to be a problem. But you know, if they end up not going with him and they go in a different direction, and again, you still got to figure out what the contract situation is with Justin Jefferson. If you know, if he wants to get paid and, you know, immediately, you know, so you also have to deal with that. And again, same thing with the Broncos. Division's going to be better next year. You know, the Bears are going to be better. Depending on the quarterback situation, another quarterback situation with the team. The Packers are going to be better. You still got the Lions. So we'll see what happens there. So now they also have another team, and Nick, if you're still here, you're not going to like who CBS put. They put the New York Giants as a team that could be falling in 2024. Now, this is a team that finished 6-11. You know, you got Saquon Barkley, who might not be on the team next year. You got question marks at quarterback, the offensive line, and then you had all this stuff going on with Brian Dable and Wink Martindale. You know, that whole fiasco at the end. Yeah. Now, I liked how the Giants played down the stretch. They were competitive. You know, I mean, they stomped the Eagles, which was nice to see. But, you know, that was this year. Now we're going into a new season, and we still got a lot of they still have a lot of question marks. And I don't know how they're going to be able to fix all of that in one offseason. You have all that, and you still don't have a number one wide receiver. They traded for Darren Waller, and that didn't really work out, which I think a lot of us kind of figured that was going to happen. But, yeah, you know, and the division. I mean, they're still not better than Philly, not better than Dallas. I mean, Washington is the only team that they still own, and I think they'll continue to do that. So Nick said, hard to fall further. Yeah, you're right. But again, that's just what this is an article that I saw. This is not my opinion. I feel like, you know, that they're going to figure something out. Because I still have faith in Joe Shane, but again, it's just hard because it's just, there's so many problems that this team has, and I don't know if they're going to be able to fix all of that in one offseason. And then, you know, if they can't do that this year, I mean, who knows what's going to happen? I mean, then we're going to be going into year 4, and it's like they took a step forward and then they took a massive step back. So what's going to happen now in 2024? I don't know. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for the show for today. Nick, appreciate you sticking around and commenting. Appreciate that. So yeah, we'll be back again on Monday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Hope you guys enjoy the weekend. And until then, I am Kenneth Gruenfelder signing off from the GSMC Football Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.